What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Revived, episode number 2. I am your host, as always, Shane Craig, and joining me is the lovely Jessie Craig.
Hello.
We're back again 1 week later. Hope you guys enjoyed our inaugural episode, our first episode of the new old podcast. Looks like it did pretty well. We're sitting at several hundred downloads already, which is amazing. So thank you guys so much for the quick response, all the downloads, all the subscriptions we've already gotten. Thanks for tuning in. Again, for the second time. So like usual, we're going to start off today with talking about what we've been playing for the last week, what we've been up to. So personally, I have been playing something I don't usually play and I don't usually enjoy, but I'm trying it for the umpteenth time. I recently got the remaster of Skyrim. And if you've seen on the YouTube channel, I've been streaming my progress there. I've gotten probably 4.5 hours worth of streamed content, and that is all I've played. I've not played it without streaming it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm a decent ways in. It started off a little bit rocky because I'm an idiot, and I was like, well, I hate that stupid carriage ride, so I'm going to install this mod that'll let me skip the carriage ride. And you basically pick you're going to start, in this town. And just a bunch of random towns. I don't know what they are. All these made up words. So I just picked one and it put me in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I'm like, what's my quest? What am I supposed to be doing? And the answer is nothing. There's no quest line because you just started in the middle of nowhere. So I was like, what am I supposed to be doing? So I'm wandering around and I'm looking for this fucking place that I couldn't find, and so then I googled how do you start the main quest line. It's like, oh, you got to go to this place, then you get Helgen, and then you got to go to Whiterun. So it's like, all right, Helgen's a very far trek. So I just started walking, and some funny stuff happened. I got attacked by wolves a lot and people, and I didn't know that I had magic. I just had magic already, and I had no idea. So I'm just hitting stuff with maces that I found, and I'm could have made things much easier on myself, but my attempt to make things easier made things considerably more difficult.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to watch all of it because I've been working every day this past week, it feels like. But I happened to get really lucky and go on my lunch break, probably about half an hour after you had started streaming it. Mm-hmm. And I just saw it pop up on my phone. And I was like, oh my God, I got to see this. So I started watching immediately. And I'm like, this guy don't know fucking anything about this. And I really feel like that mod may have been for seasoned players.
Probably.
Or at least someone who had played the game a little bit before.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there I know exactly where you need to go, what you need to do.
I'm asking in the chat, I'm like, what was that place called you needed to go? Fagan Dragon? Baggin' Dragon?
Ragged Flag.
Ragged Flag? Okay.
I'm fucking dying.
And I was like, the map. Okay, the map in Skyrim sucks dick. It is so bad. It's a terrible, terrible map.
Okay, but you had the local map pulled up and...
That's where I was. I was local. I was in the town. And it just, you can't, there's no sense of it's okay, so this place, they've got a mark on it in that spot, but you go there and it's not there. It's like, oh, well, it's underneath there?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to know that?
Yeah.
Who could possibly know it's in the ground somewhere?
Well, it's intuitive.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's not. It's the opposite of it's not intuitive.
It's intuitive for people who have played exploration games. You just keep walking. So you would have gotten to the siding where that river is in Riften, and you would have been like, it's not here. Let me look down. And then you jump down, you're in the river, and then there's a door right underneath the...
Why would I jump? Why would I do that?
Because that's exactly what I fucking did.
Why would I jump off of a thing?
Because I was like, I don't know, maybe it's down here. If you would have explored instead of just running around like a crazy person.
Well, I thought, there are doors.
It's you could have walked around the town, really taken a look at everything,
Nope.
seen a staircase that goes below the main dock.
I did see a staircase that went down below the dock later, but I didn't in any way think...
Because you're running around like a crackhead.
I mean, I didn't know where I was supposed to be. The game doesn't tell you anything.
God, yeah. So that's pretty funny that you spent literally 2 hours just getting to the main main area.
Yeah, it
to
took
start
me
over where you could have just been.
It was right around an hour.
Yeah.
Is what it took me to get to the beginning of Skyrim.
See, I know that sequence is rough with the carriage, but it really guides you. That intro guides a new player.
Once I got there, I was okay, and then I was like, okay, so now I got to go to Whiterun and do that, and I did that, and I killed a dragon. But I left off. I went and I talked to the beardy guys, and they taught me how to yell.
I have not seen that, so.
So I made it that far. I don't know. There's got to be like Daniel was watching. He was in one of our friends that's also trying to be a YouTuber as well. He told me that I needed to download a mod that made the map it would like somehow enhance the map.
All right, that sounds cool.
Because the map is terrible in that game. It is
it
so
is pretty bad.
I'm trying to get up to the beardy guys, and I'm like, I don't know. It's on a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, is there a trail? How do I get there? That took me like another hour just to figure out how the fuck to get up the mountain.
Yeah.
And I've done that before years ago, and I had the same problem. I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to get up there. So I'm like following a trail. I'm like, I think this is it. I'm like, nope, this isn't it. This is taking me just kind of parallel to the mountain. It doesn't go up the mountain. It's ridiculous.
Oh God.
So, game is not for me, but I'm trying to enjoy it, and hopefully people have enjoyed watching me try to enjoy it.
Well, I think it's glorious. So
as long as someone's enjoying it,
I am.
It's really all that matters.
Well, I've been playing My Time at Portia, which is kind of like a Stardew Valley-like game. If you took Stardew Valley, and a little bit of Animal Crossing, a little bit of Harvest Moon, and just jammed it all into one, then that is the game that I've been playing, which I haven't played in a long time. I have to have like maybe 100 hours or something into it,
right.
But it's a very peaceful, relaxing game. You'd probably hate it because it's...
I think I tried it.
Did you really?
Very briefly, I think I did.
Yeah. But with that game, I think what's most irritating about it is anytime that you have to craft something, like the crafting on it is just like so intense. Like it's not simple. Like you don't just grab like two things and then just make it. Like you have to make the ingredients and then...
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, it is a big, beautiful game.
It's funny because it's cutesy looking. Like
it
looks like it would be like a streamlined version of something like that.
Well, it's not as bad as something like Graveyard Keeper, which is like horrible because it doesn't give you any instructions on how to craft anything. Like the steps involved in that game are like crazy difficult, but I do love that game too. But it's also not as simple as like Stardew Valley. It's one of those games you're in it for the long haul. Like when you're trying to be friends with the villagers around you, like you don't just give them like one thing and gain a heart. Like you're consecutively giving these people something every single day. You have to go on play dates with them to get them to like you.
Oh my God.
They're like, I don't fucking talk to strangers, buddy. You gotta court me.
Who the fuck's this guy? Wow.
So yeah, it's a good game though. The music's really relaxing. It kind of gives me like a Wind Waker vibe too.
Yeah, I could see that.
So, and I think they're working on a sequel or a spin-off game or more content or something, which I'm always down for. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's been out for a minute, so that makes sense. And I think it did pretty well. I think it got a release on the Switch, I think. Is
slow
that right?
burn. Yeah, it was a really slow burn.
Some of these indie titles, like that to me, when I explain to people why I game on a PC instead of anything else, it's because, the perfect example is the continued existence of PUBG. Mm-hmm. PUBG came out as an early access game, 2 years before it made it to consoles? So by the time
it took a while.
By the time it made it to console, it was the peak was already over on PC. You get these indie games that have these really long development cycles, these slow burns, and you get to jump in before they make it to... It's like the console, by the time they make it to the console, they're already dying. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you get like a good version of it, but sometimes you get a last-ditch effort. It's like the game's going great, they're making money, and they're like, we're going to make a console version. And then like midway through development, they're like, okay, it's not as great as it used to be. The curve has now begun to be on the decline. So you kind of get this like a like a last gasp is the
Yeah.
console version that comes out, and it's usually ported by someone else. And I don't know. To me, if you like these independent games, you like these kind of different sorts of games, PC is where you are going to find those sorts of games for sure.
Well, I would definitely. Here's my thing. I bought My Time at Portia also on the Switch. I can't play it on the Switch. I cannot fucking play it on the Switch. I can't play Stardew Valley on the Switch.
Yeah.
It just does not feel right. Like, I'm trying to control this character, but I've played so much on PC that I'm just like, I can't fucking do it. Like, it feels really awkward.
Feels wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So, unfortunately, I've wasted a little bit of money on that and on Stardew Valley on Switch. But if you can do that, go for it. But it's much faster and much better on PC.
So some news broke just the other day via a tweet from Tom Holland that production is about to begin. I guess I should say filming is about to begin finally on the Uncharted movie. I think they've gone through, 3 or 4 iterations trying to make this movie?
See, I don't, actually have not done that much research into any of it. I know the other day we were talking about it and Tom Holland came up and I was like, oh, it's wonderful. He'd be great. But I had heard the rumors for a long time, but I was just like, oh, yeah, well, they talked about doing a Last of Us movie, or the Last of Us movie.
Last of Us is going to be a TV show on HBO.
What the fuck? See, I don't even know what's happening
Apparently
anymore.
that's happening. But Uncharted movie is about to start filming.
This is actually legit.
Mark Wahlberg had been attached to it off and on the entire time. Apparently he was down to do it the entire time. I assumed that he was going to be playing Nathan Drake.
He's a little silvery now.
But now, with Tom Holland being on board, and it's now going to be some sort of an origin story where it's going to be a young Nathan Drake. How old is Tom Holland?
I was going to ask you that.
I feel like it seems like he's young, but he's probably in his early 20s, right?
Okay, I'm going to guess he is 23.
I think that's probably a fair guess. Let's see here. Tom Holland is 24 years old.
Ooh, I was
Very
close. Nice.
So he's going to be playing a young Nathan Drake, and it is, I guess it's confirmed, it's on IMDb that Mark Wahlberg is going to be playing Sully.
That's going to be amazing.
So depending on where they go with this, it could be quite interesting. They've also got listed on IMDb Antonio Banderas playing someone, but they don't have him listed as who he's going to be, just that he's attached to the movie.
He's going to be Navarro or whatever, bad guy from the first one.
Who knows? I mean, it's hard to say, how canon are they going to keep things? I mean, is this going to be, how far back are they mix things up? You really can't tell.
I hope they keep it canon. I'm so over video game movies being disjointedly
mixing up different parts of the story.
I did not watch the Tomb Raider movie. I won't watch the Tomb Raider movie.
The new one.
Yeah, just because I'm not interested. I don't like the casting choice. I know that they pretty much, for the most part, followed the plot of the reboot game, but I also feel like they kind of fucked around with the story a little bit from what I read.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much I want them to fuck around with the origin here too.
They probably are, because they've casted somebody to play Chloe. And Chloe doesn't, I guess it's hinted that they've known each other for a while, right?
I think he'd
known her longer than he knew Elena, because Chloe showed up and they already knew each other.
Yeah.
So who knows? We don't really know how that story went.
God, who did they cast as Chloe?
Sophia Ali. I don't know.
I need to see her face.
I don't know her. But yeah, I mean, she fits.
Ooh, I like her.
She fits the bill.
Okay.
She looks like Chloe. So I mean, good job there. I'm intrigued. I don't, man, video game movies
usually suck.
Always suck. I can't
always suck.
Can't think of one that I liked. But I mean, this is a really good cast.
Hey, I will put it this way: I really did enjoy the original Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie, because they were already coming off of a very vague franchise anyways. They weren't great, but I did enjoy them.
Yeah, I mean, they were somewhat enjoyable. Right, I was going to say the nostalgia goggles may be pretty thick on that one.
Yeah. But I won't rewatch them now.
Probably a good idea to not rewatch them now.
So, on this Uncharted movie, what else do you know about it?
that's really about it. I don't see a whole lot of other information out there. Just that we're about to start. I think Ruben Fleischer is the director. He did some stuff like I think he did some like kind of nerd culture-y kind of stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
How are they gonna translate the humor is what I'm curious about, because that is something that just naturally flows in the Uncharted games through the dialogue, like as you're playing the game. I wonder how that's gonna work. If they're just gonna do like a big actiony like boom boom explosions, I'm being chased by a bad guy kind of thing.
Gotta have the dialogue. So he did the recent Venom movie. He did the sequel to Zombieland.
Okay, I haven't watched any of those.
It looks like he did the original Zombieland as well.
That was a good one.
I mean, not like he's got a huge catalog of great films. But
also want to know how
Zombieland
old
has good dialogue, good banter.
Does.
So I mean, something there.
It's character rich.
Yeah.
I wonder how old Tom Holland, his version, whatever, Nathan Drake is. I wonder how old he's supposed to be in the movie.
I mean, hopefully he's, going to be just in his early 20s, and we're really getting the story of him getting started. I mean, it could tell the story of, I'm going to refresh my memory here, but in the early games, the whole thing about taking his name from Sir Francis Drake, that was all bullshit, right?
Well, we found out that in Uncharted 4, but yes.
But he didn't know that? He did know that. I don't remember.
I think in the origin, in Uncharted 4, it basically came out that it kind of was bullshit. Or maybe it came out of 3 and 4. But he was always playing it off like, Francis Drake had children, but just they were like illegitimate, basically.
Gotcha.
Because, his wife never had actual children.
You've got Uncharted 4 showing the orphanage and his brother, and, how much of this are we going to see? I don't know. Is his brother going to be in it? Who would play him? Who knows? We don't really know much. If you look at the IMDb page, those 4 people I mentioned, that's who we know that's going to be casted. I don't know if I'm even cautiously optimistic. I hope that it's going to be good, but I'm not like, I don't know.
Damn, dude. What about this TV show with The Last of Us? I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, no, I don't. I know next to nothing about that. I guess I could give it a quick Google and see if we can see who's been casted. But I know The Last of Us, HBO. But I know that it's apparently happening. I
mean, it's better than a movie, I guess, but it also gives them more time to fuck things up too.
So let's pull up IMDb here. It is. I think it's being. Yeah. So I think it's being written by Neil Druckmann. I think he's involved, which should really help.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here.
It's gonna be the main characters, or
directors Johan Rink. I don't know movies. Starring says to be determined.
To be contended.
To be contended. Yeah, not a lot of updates. Don't really have anybody cast on. Yeah, nobody cast yet. So we don't know anything. We just know that it's happening.
Okay.
Apparently Druckmann's going to be involved. That should help. It's about all we know, unfortunately.
I want that to also be origin. Like, I want to see, if it's going to be a TV show, I want to see the 25 years after the outbreak between, Joel losing his daughter and him meeting Ellie.
What he was up to then. Yeah. That would exclude Ellie from the story until
she doesn't need to be in it.
It might be interesting to see that story retold from the game, but yeah, it would also be cool to see what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
I think they missed the boat. They should have done this before.
God, that was so long ago.
Maisie Williams girl wanted to do it, and she would have been perfect.
She would have been perfect.
She would have been a very good Ellie. So usually neither one of us are big Xbox people, never really have been. But some of the stuff that Microsoft is doing with their next consoles and with their games in general, I'm actually really intrigued by, and I'm really happy that someone is doing. So for a while we had we had Microsoft. Okay, so let me just jump back.
Yeah, I want you to do that.
So basically, what they're doing is they are slowly pushing things towards consoles behaving the same way as PCs. So in the PC world, you go on Steam, you buy your game, you pay for it there. You can sign into Steam and you can play it on your desktop, your laptop, your other computer, wherever you want to play it. You just sign in and you download it. All those computers have different hardware. Well, you can just tweak your settings and get it to run, and your save is going to upload to the cloud, and you're just going to play wherever. It's going to look different. It's going to run different. Maybe this computer runs at 1080p and 60 FPS. Maybe your laptop only does it at 30. Maybe this computer's 4K, maxed out settings. But you're going to play the game no matter where you're at, and it's going to fit. The water is going to fit the bowl it's in.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're doing. So they started off slowly with this thing, with the whole Xbox Game Pass thing, where you would pay a subscription and you could play, you get all these games that are in the subscription. You can play it on your Xbox, or some of them are compatible on PC. So when Game Pass, you get all those games, play them on your PC, play them on your Xbox. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that the saves even synced. I'm not 100% there, but I think that they did. That was pretty cool. Well, now, with the Xbox Series X, there is a rumor that there's going to be an Xbox Series S as well, which will essentially be a step down in performance, and it will be cheaper. So you'll have the Series X for your top-end people that want 4K maxed out settings. You'll have the Series S for people that just want to play the game. And the Xbox One will still exist. And what they're doing is they have a thing called Smart Delivery, where, let's say you buy the new Gears of War, and you have an Xbox One. You buy it on there. You go to the store and you download it. It's going to give you correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not even 100% sure that the new Gears is going to be on Xbox One, but just play along with me. Not Xbox people, but I like what they're doing. Just play along. So let's assume it's on Xbox One as well. You download it there. You're going to get the Xbox One version. It's going to run. It's going to be fine. Then later on, you buy the Xbox Series X. Mm-hmm. Well, you go to the store and you download it. Guess what? You're going to get the Xbox Series X version. You're going to get the version that's going to be maxed out with all the features. Okay. You don't have to buy it again. It's not like
they're just going to upgrade it.
You're just going to upgrade it. You're going to get the version that is appropriate for your system.
Okay, so no more like definitive versions.
Yeah.
Or this version, that version.
The whole definitive edition thing is strictly a console thing, and it's a stopgap for the fact that hardware changes.
Yeah.
So instead of doing that, Microsoft is saying, hey, all of our first-party software, our games, you buy it, and you just download it wherever. Let's say in your living room, you've got an Xbox One. In your kid's room, he has a Series S, and you have a Series X. You can download your game on all three. It's going to download the appropriate version, and you're going to play it, and it's going to your progress will jump between systems.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The shitty thing is that that's PC game. We've had that. Yeah. We've had that for a decade or more. Whatever. It's been a long time.
Well, good
but
for
it's here now.
People. Yeah.
I think that's really, really cool. And, Sony's going to have to respond to this in some way.
They need to really,
It's been kind of wild to watch how, I feel like Sony had all of the goodwill and all of the momentum. Mm-hmm. And, I know that The Last of Us Part 2 is sold very well. It's done really well. But it feels like Microsoft is the one right now going out of their way to really cater to gamers.
Yeah.
And to do all these cool things. And they're not only that,
but they're... Which used to be really a Sony thing.
Was a Sony thing through the end of the PS3 and PS4 beginning. Yeah, that was Sony. Mm-hmm. But now Microsoft is leveraging. It's really smart because for a long time, it was like, Microsoft makes Windows. So they're cool with you gaming on your Windows device because they own that too.
Yeah.
So then it became this thing of like, well, is PC gaming, is it going to cannibalize Xbox? Are they going to compete with each other? Are you going to get to a world where it's like Xbox is suffering because Windows gaming is doing well? Well, they're trying to find a way to get ahead of that and to basically make it so that they're one and the same.
Yeah.
And that's really smart.
If it comes to a point where their console just turned... it is a computer, obviously. But if it gets to a point where it's more like I mean, are they going to just verge into a PC at some point, and just have more like...
Essentially, right now, the only thing that makes the Xbox Series X not just a desktop computer is that it isn't running Windows.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's running a different software. It's probably a custom-made Linux kernel or some sort of Unix, which whatever. But yeah, I mean, you're running x86 architecture. You're running the PS4 is a computer. It is running desktop hardware with quote unquote game system software.
I mean, all it is anymore is just like an easier plug and go kind of PC for people who are not. They don't build their PC. They don't want to buy a PC, so they just plug it into the TV and go.
Do we ever get to a place where the Xbox Series X runs a heavily skinned shell within Windows?
How cool would that be?
You can, close the shell, and now you're in a Windows desktop environment.
That would be a really cool way to reach out to people.
I mean, you've got Steam's big picture mode.
Yeah.
Which big picture mode literally is big picture as in a TV.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, if you plug your computer up to a TV, you go into big picture mode, and now you have big icons, easier to sit at a distance, and now we're gonna make a Steam controller, which was a huge failure. But anyways, that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
They were trying to tap into that, game system, computer converging sort of thing. Microsoft is in, but arguably a better position to further that sort of idea.
Yeah.
I had a thought the other day that is probably stupid as shit, but it made me laugh when I thought about it. I made a video about what the Nintendo Switch Pro is probably going to be like. Mm-hmm. And somebody commented kind of jokingly like that they wanted, a 4K screen, and they just wanted the super premium device. And then they laughed and said it's not going to happen, but it'd be cool if they did something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that got me thinking. So the Nintendo Switch is running on an NVIDIA Tegra processor, and it's running basically a heavily modified version of Android, because that's what the Tegra chip is built to run.
Okay.
Like the NVIDIA Shield box we watch TV through is the same. It's a slightly customized version of that same chipset.
Yeah.
So the Nintendo Switch is, in a way, an Android tablet with controllers attached to it, right?
Yeah.
So
you can tell too. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, kind of. So I got to thinking, you've got these devices like I think it's called Razer Kishi, and some other people have made things where you basically attach controllers to either side of your smartphone, and people are like, oh, it's basically a Nintendo Switch, and
basically
they're more right than they might even realize.
Yeah.
So what if this is never in a million years going to happen? But just imagine this. Nintendo partners with, let's say, Asus, because they make really good gaming phones, like the ROG Phone 3, ROG Phone 2, high-end gaming phone. They partner with Asus, and they make the Nintendo phone, the Nintendo phone, and it's a smartphone with a big ass screen, like big 6+ inch, like Galaxy S20 Plus giant fucking screen.
Okay,
it's a giant phone. And they put the USB-C port on the side, right? Because you got to put your controllers on either side. And they make a little, it'd have to be done, I don't know, maybe just straight up magnetically. Maybe it would wrap around the edges a little bit, but you take a Joy-Con and just go doop, doop, and stick them onto the sides of your phone. It'd have to be a good magnet or something that would lock it in place. I don't know how they'd work that out. But it would be just an Android phone with super high-end, the latest Snapdragon 865 Plus overclocked. Put a fucking fan in there like some of these people are doing that lets the phone cool itself, a little vent on the side.
I'll just make a case for it. Just pop your phone.
No, it's got to be all hardware. It's got to be part of the phone.
Okay.
And maybe a pop-up camera, but it's on the side too. It pops up out of the side.
Oh
so when you're
God.
gaming, it would it'd look at you. You could stream that way.
I know you want me to say that sounds awesome, but it sounds horrible.
It sounds terrible, but I would
hate
love
it.
to see it. I want to see what that would be like.
Okay.
A Nintendo phone with Joy-Cons that is attached to the side.
So the only thing I liked about that was the pop-up camera on the side.
Lenovo apparently is a rumor that Lenovo is making. They've got their Legion line for gaming.
Okay.
Apparently, Lenovo is going to make a quote unquote Legion phone, and it's going to have a pop up camera on the side
On
for
the
that
side?
exact reason.
Okay, well, I'm going to look at
Which
that.
is smart because I mean,
Yeah.
if you're, good lord, like if you just look on YouTube, if you type in PUBG, you get a handful of people playing the PC game, a handful of people playing the console game, and 150 million people, largely from India, playing the mobile game. The mobile game is making literally billions of dollars. It is not just, okay, PUBG for a minute was the biggest game on the planet. The mobile game dwarfs PUBG at its biggest.
It's horrible.
It's unbelievable. We live in our ivory tower of oldness, and we're like, oh, those stupid mobile games. Everyone is playing them, and especially people in Eurasia, or I guess I should say more specifically Asia and India, that kind of area. It is a colossal thing over there because think about it like this. Smartphones have gotten cheap.
Yeah.
You can get a phone that is capable of playing PUBG Mobile or Fortnite or whatever. I'm sure there's a game out there that's as big as both of those that I've never even heard of because why would I have? But you can, like you've got the Xiaomi Mi 9T Pro. That phone, you could have that phone for $300. It's got a Snapdragon 855, and it could run PUBG Mobile at pretty good settings, probably close to maxed out. You can get that phone for cheap. And now you have a phone and a game system.
Yeah.
We don't understand that, these people, a lot of the time, it's unrealistic to expect them to have bought a gaming computer or a $400 gaming system that only plays games and maybe watches TV when they could get a $200 budget phone that can play PUBG Mobile. Of course they're going to play it. It's free. It's colossally popular. So this idea of a gaming phone sounded really dumb to me for a long time, but it's not dumb. It's actually brilliant.
No, it's not dumb.
It's dumb
I guess
to
like
me.
For me, like I can't fathom because I've tried to do it. I tried to play PUBG Mobile a few times, I think with you, to see if I could.
I can't play it either.
And I'm just like, the fuck?
It's
like
not-
I'm touching my screen, like screen controls. Ugh, I just want to vomit.
I have
It's
a weird
horrible.
problem too when I've tried to play it where I'm staring at a tiny screen for that long. I start getting like almost like motion sickness. Like
Yeah.
it starts to really make me nauseated. It's very strange. There's something about that like eye strain level being increased because I'm staring into. I mean,
It's like back when we used to have those little TVs.
yeah, but what's weird is like I can play my Switch.
Yeah.
And that doesn't bother me. So there's something about PUBG Mobile. Maybe there's other, I don't know, but there's something about it where I made a video the other day, playing the new map because PUBG Mobile got an exclusive map, and I wanted to see if it was any good.
Oh, really?
Spoiler alert: it's very good. Like I would love to have that map on the regular PUBG, but I was trying to play it on there. And by the end of it, I was like, I don't feel well. Like, I'm not feeling good anymore.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know. Because, I mean, my OnePlus 7 Pro screen is roughly the same size as the Switch. Mm-hmm. So what's the problem there? I don't know. I don't know.
It's a little bit more narrow.
I guess. I don't know. My eyes, my brain was not a fan of that at all.
Ugh.
All right, guys. I think that brings us to the end of another episode. So, like,